Massive game for us, wasn't it? Massive. Like you can't lose. You can't draw. You got to win. You got to win because City are just relentless. The behemoths of the Premier League are relentless. So Arsenal need to go to the South Coast, need to beat Bournemouth, need to get 3 points. And I think they will. Surely this is a banker for Arsenal. Bournemouth have started so badly. And Arsenal, contrary to what people think, have actually not started that bad. They've not started that bad. Let's welcome in AFTV's Robbie Lyle. Robbie, as always, my brother, thank you so much for coming on. Spanker in it, 3 points.
There's no bankers in the Premier League, mate. There are none. You know what I mean, you've got to go and earn it. So, you know, we won there last year 3-0. But remember the game they gave us at the Emirates, where, you know what I mean, Reece Nelson had to come on like in the dying seconds of the game and win it for us. So
yeah,
you cannot take it for granted. We got to go there and you know, do a professional job. But we've been playing well away from home. Better away from home than we have been at home.
Generally speaking, Rob, do you think that you're going to get the win here? Because I think you would have gone into a game like this under normal circumstances expecting the win. But then there's been some fairly shaky moments so far this season. Obviously, the Fulham one springs to mind. How confident are you going into this fixture?
Yeah, I'm fairly confident because away from home, we've been playing better than we have been at home for some reason. We haven't conceded a goal away from home yet this season. We've been very, very good, I feel, away from home. You know, I mean, we showed a level of control, you know, and we haven't been scoring loads and loads of goals from away from home, but we score a goal and then we'll just shut down the game. So I'm quite confident that we will get a result, but I just, you know, obviously, as Ade's saying there, I don't take any Premier League team for granted, you know, because I remember, as I said, what they did last year when they came to our place.
You're right, Rob. Absolutely, I agree with you. That's why it's the Premier League, isn't it? Toughest league in the world. Anyone can go anywhere and get beat. As Arteta got it wrong with Havertz, you've watched him now for a few games. This midfield role that he's trying to do, I just don't see it. This kind of number 8 position. I think you're desperate to get Partey back. That Partey, Rice, Odegaard thing is perfect. But then when one's missing, it seems to be a bit disjointed. And, you know, Havertz looks like he might get the opportunity against Bournemouth. Is it working?
Not at the moment, no. I mean, I've not seen enough from Kai Havertz. You know, what I've made of him so far is that he plays it safe too much. So you watch him playing a game and he hasn't really had a bad game, but he hasn't really had a great game either. It's just all very safe from him so far. And I'm hoping that, you know, as games go on, his confidence will build and, you know, we'll see a better player. But at the moment, you know, listen, I was surprised when we signed him. I was really surprised when we signed him. And, you know, I think the Arsenal fans want to see more from him, you know what I mean? Because at the moment, you know, he's certainly not seeing £65 million worth of player. Definitely not at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you know, I guess if Fabio Vieira is out and he was out for the last game, then maybe it will be Havertz that starts. But we definitely need to see more from him. He looks like a guy that at the moment he's not playing with a lot of confidence. So he's just doing everything very safe.
Rob, I've got to ask you about the Tottenham game, the significance of it. Obviously, it's 2 points drops when you're going for the title, but in the way that you drop them, you're playing against your biggest rivals, your old foes. You've got a great record against them at the Emirates, and you were winning the game twice. To come away, how disappointed were you leaving the Emirates on the weekend?
Very disappointed. Very disappointed, you know what I mean? Because like you said, you know what I mean, when you're in the lead twice, especially the second goal, the way we threw that away, you know what I mean? After just scoring and that mistake by Jorginho, you know what I mean? It's really, really disappointing because and even in the first half, I think, you know, Gabriel Jesus, if he takes that chance, he did brilliantly, nicked the ball off of Maddison, which literally was exactly the same as what happened to Jorginho, but we didn't punish them. You know what I mean? And I was shocked when, you know, that went over the bar. You know what I mean? Should have buried that. We would have been 2-0 up. But, yeah, it was really, really disappointing. You know what I mean? If you speak to any Tottenham fan this week, you know what I mean? It's like they won the league. You know what I mean? The Champions League, like getting a draw. I had to remind some of them that it was a draw. You know what I mean? We didn't actually lose the game. But that's just so that shows the expectations at Arsenal now, you know what I mean, are very, very high. And yeah, it was very disappointing not to get all 3 points in that game. And you're right, you know what I mean, when you're chasing Man City He just can't afford to drop any points, you know. So, but it's still very, very early in the season. We're still unbeaten, you know, even though we haven't been at absolute best. So, I mean, Arsenal, a lot of people are forgetting that, you know. We haven't actually lost a game, you know. I mean, even when we played City in the Community Shield, didn't lose that game either. So, you know, we're still set well. And we're still, you know, as I said, we're not fluent at the moment. We're not at our fluent best. There's still, I feel, a lot more to come from the team, and we've been having a lot of injuries as well. Yeah,
we're going to get to them. We're going to get to loads of injuries to big players as well. I want to touch on the goalkeeping situation, Rob. Look, you go Arsenal home and away, so you've watched Ramsdale closely. At the end of the season, did you say to yourself, we need a new goalkeeper? Like, when you thought, okay, we haven't won the league, because I saw Jamie Carragher the other day, he said, you're never going to win the league with Ramsdale. Did you at the end of the season say, okay, look, we need to get rid of Ramsdale here?
No, Ramsdale was brilliant last season. He got into the PFA team of the year.
Yeah, you know I mean? You forget that, don't you?
I mean, so I mean, I don't know what Jamie Carragher was talking about there. You know, I mean, he was excellent last season, and it was kind of a bit of a shock getting Raya. You know what I mean? Because you know, Ramsdale hasn't really done anything wrong. You know, he's made a few mistakes, but every goalkeeper does. You know what I mean? And again, the other night against Brentford, I thought he was brilliant, man. He made a brilliant save in that game. But I mean, the manager's gone with Raya. We got two outstanding goalkeepers. And I've yet to see if it'd be interesting to see if he does rotate tomorrow, because he did say about rotation. And after the game that Ramsdale had the other night, which I thought he was excellent, and he used to play at Bournemouth, so he know the place.
Wow.
Surely this is the game to rotate him into. Yeah. But, you know, let's wait and see. But I'm just looking at it and saying at the moment, we got two great goalkeepers. Two really, whoever's playing, I'm comfortable.
Robbie, to the other end of the pitch, Gabriel Jesus is a player that I've waxed lyrical about for a long time. I rate him. I think I kind of agree with the Pep Guardiola assessment. The best pressing forward in the world. I've always backed him. However, you know that miss against Tottenham, that's cost you the game there. If you'd taken the ball off Maddison, if he pops that into the top corner or just gently caresses it into the, you know, rolls it delicately into the bottom corner, you go 2-0 up and the game is effectively over. Do you think that you need to sign another forward? Do you want to sign maybe someone like Ivan Toney? Would you like the idea of signing a Victor Osimhen? Or do you still believe that Gabriel Jesus is the answer?
No, I definitely think we need to sign a clinical striker like the two that you've just mentioned then. Either of those two, I'd love to see at Arsenal along with Gabriel Jesus. You know what I mean? So we don't really have an out-and-out clinical killer, as what I call it, up front. You know what I mean? And those two that you just named just sort of fall into that category. And I'd like to see Arsenal go after one of those two and still have Gabriel Jesus as well, you know what I mean? So, but you are right. I mean, I feel that if we would have scored that second, I don't think Tottenham would have come back after that. And, you know, you can't afford to miss chances like that. You know, I'm sure, you know, nobody needs to tell Jesus that. He knows he should have scored.
Yeah, he just doesn't, he doesn't seem to have that killer instinct in front of goal, does he? Like, you wouldn't trust him going in one-on-one. Ivan Toney, I feel like, would just slot it with his eyes closed. That's kind of what Ivan Toney does. You mentioned your injuries, quite a few of them, obviously. The big ones, Jurriën Timber, he's out until the new year. Declan Rice looks like he has a back issue. We don't know what's going on with Saka. Are you starting to worry that they're starting to build up? Partey always seems to be injured now, which is a shame, because I think him and Declan Rice is a fantastic midfield. Are you worried, or you think you've got a big enough squad to get through this?
I think we've got a big enough squad at the moment to get through it. But we do need to, you know, I mean, Declan Rice, he never, I saw his record when he's at West Ham. The guy's
never injured.
Never. Didn't he have some sort of record for playing, like he played a whole season. We played every single game. He played every League Cup game, every Conference League game. Comes to Arsenal, I'm back.
It almost looked like Arteta was upset with him. It almost felt in a couple of interviews that Arteta was upset with him. Not that he doesn't believe him, like, come on, shush your back, get on.
No, you got to listen. You believe Declan Rice.
Yeah,
the way he plays, you believe him. And I'd rather him be honest and say, you know, I mean, I felt something and come off, rather than, you know, I mean, then he's out for, you know, 2 months or something. But we have it, you know, even in that game against Tottenham, just before the game, Trossard was out. You know, I mean, he was on fire. He'd scored 2 in 2. No Martinelli. You know, I mean, we were missing some. It's not an excuse, because we should still have won that game. but we were missing some key players. But we have got, I feel at the moment, quite a good squad and are able to weather a lot of those injuries at the moment, as long as they're not for a long time. I mean, that one you named there, Jurian Timber, I saw that guy in pre-season for Arsenal.
Fantastic.
He was absolutely brilliant. I was looking forward to seeing him this season, and it's such a shame that he's out. But the one thing I would say with Arsenal, we've improved the squad, and we're actually having to use it really well at the moment because we have had a lot of injuries.
Robbie, can I just skip forward a couple of weeks? On the 8th of October, you're playing at home against Manchester City. Now, last year, you played City 3 times and you got slapped up 3 times. To have any chance of winning the league this year, you're going to have to change that because you've already dropped points and there's no value in a draw anymore. Do you believe now, under Mikel Arteta, the team that he has managed to amass, that you are capable of beating Manchester City at home? Remember, they're without Kevin De Bruyne, they're going to be without Rodri. Surely this is the time.
I don't like the way I
don't like the way he says slapped up.
I'm
not a fan. I didn't like the way he said that.
Slapped up 3 times.
I see that Rory, because I know Rory's in a lot of pain over Chelsea, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? And may I remind you, after the international break, that run you was talking about earlier begins with us.
Yeah.
You've got a good record at your place. And I'm going to remember that slapped up word that you used there when it gets to that, Rory. I ain't going to forget that. But, yeah, listen, it's a big game. That game against Man City, that's huge. And look at him he's trying to stir it as well. No Rodri, no De Bruyne. You know what they're like, right?
Yeah.
Even with those players, their squad's unbelievable, right? And they've just got that winning mentality. But this is a big opportunity for Arsenal, I feel. Even if they had their full squad, it's one of those games that we got to win. We got to get one over City. You know what I mean? Last year, they deserved to win the league because they beat us home and away. And you are right, to be honest, they did slap us up home and away. So we've got to get one over them. And this, I think as well, like going into an international break, if we could go in there on the back of beating them, that starts to give you a lot of momentum, going into the rest of the game. So it's a big, big game, man. And hopefully we can slap them up.
Robbie Lyle, my man. Appreciate you coming on as always,
Rob.
brother. Thank you very much. Robbie Lyle there from AFTV. Don't forget Bournemouth versus Arsenal tomorrow, 3:00 kickoff, live and exclusive, that game on talkSPORT, not on UK TV, that one as well. So Arsenal fans, with a home game against Man City coming up, as you heard Mr. Rory Jennings say, do you have to win that to have any chance of winning the title? We've gone early here. Get your calls in 03717 2233.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.